Big boss, bitch. For sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Terrence Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And we're gonna talk about spiritual initiation, being spiritually initiated. Now, for the most part, this is gonna be the origin of a legion, origin of a religion, a real legion. So that's what this video is about. So for the most part, I'm gonna break this down. Now, this is what you need to know. What all religions is talking about. I don't care how far back it goes. I'm Archangel Uriel, and this is going to be one of the reasons why all the religions never can explain the full totality of the creation story. They can never tell you where spirits came from. They can never tell you where God or their God came from, which is just another spirit. They can never tell you that. They can never tell you what spirit that they was following in this space and location came from, or they can never tell you about the premortal waters that was already here. They can only tell you what they spirit have taught them, because the spirit that they are following wants to stay in a specific rulership or space or position or location. So that's what you need to keep in mind. And when we talk about imagination, we are creating the external realm based upon experience. So based upon our imagination and the ability for all of us to collectively combine our imagination, we actually create the realm of reality that we see in front of us. So the more we agree to terms and conditions, the more that things appear to be real for us. So we know when you even look at money, we know money is just paper. But the reason they got so much meaning and reasoning and backing and supporting behind it is because all of us take our own idea and agree to the terms and conditions of what this paper is going to mean. Now, for the most part, you have a person, a spirit, that's in a body that's the owner of that intellectual property. So they took a fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional energy signature, which is currency, and filtered it through a piece of paper. So they came up with the idea of what this piece of paper is going to mean. And then based upon their positioning and their authority, which is here we come with government again. So this person is carrying a spirit of what a lot of y'all religious people be following, that same kind of spirit. But based upon this person's celebrity or popularity or authority or whatever figure it was, this man or woman was able to influence enough people to agree to those terms and conditions that this is what this is going to mean. And this is what this money is going to be backed and supported by, whether it's gold or whatever like that. So for the most part, all of us together is helping this one or two people idea of an energy signature that we all got access to. You see what I'm saying? But what happens here is once everybody agreed to this one person's idea, now you have a legion, a religion around that one person's idea. And if that one person's idea was to put currency in the form of what money looked like, then now you have what you call us creating the external world based upon what we are experiencing. So we're creating the external world. So anytime you hear things about where you want to go or where your spirit going to go, for my religious people, you need to know it's going to another shape and form. It's going to another world. Otherwise, there's no reason to say that, because you're already you. You're already your virtue. You're already your persons. You're already your spirit. So you're already in your spirit. So you're already your spirit. So what the fuck you mean you're going? Your spirit is constantly traveling through and creating different shapes and forms to be aware of itself, which is why you are in a body now. So you can go create a heaven to go into or create a hell. But that whole comic book way of looking at heaven and hell, this is where we're going to get into that, because there's an energy signature out here that you can kind of sustain your life. Like when you go all the way back to the religious, like before we even created, I'm finna take us back before we even created the eyes and the brain and the heart and things of that nature, because humans was at a real premortal stage where that they correlated everything to the physical. So at this time, hell could have been the seasons that they were experiencing and things of that nature. And they could have purely been talking about rising above your circumstances and situations. And when you hone in on a situation and experience it after and after again, you bring yourself down, which you become stressful, you become in pain, you become detached, you become a loss of life because you keep putting yourself into a same pattern. So this could have been purely a physical means when we talk about humans way back then, when y'all want to talk about ancient Egyptians and things of that nature, so and Sumerians and shit like that. So y'all have to keep that in mind. Once we started getting into our language now and started coming up with words like spirit and stuff like that, we are evolving to a stage now where we are consciously aware of things. So we're in a higher dimension. So we have more details, more what they call that more dimension, so we can understand more precisely of something. So we can kind of what they call that when your camera 720 digital, whatever like that, we can actually see more of the particle. We're more consciously aware of the experience, so we can separate what's what now. So now we're more consciously evolved now that we can kind of separate, like, okay, hold on, we got like two different natures going on with us now. This is not the same. Something is separate because we have lived into a life and got lost into this light so long to the point that we are experiencing, and it's almost like being unfamiliar. You know, when you kind of like leave the home or leave somewhere that you're familiar with for a long time, then you start to get homesick, right? So it's almost like that when you're in this evolutionary stage of being a human right now. You kind of got so lost into so many lights that you created this, that now you're actually starting to get homesick. So now you're coming up with ideas like, hold on, did I forget something? Or did we forget? Now you're looking back towards history and things of that nature. And you coming up with concepts and ideas that's has nothing to do with this body. See, now you're getting consciously aware of what you actually began to do in the first place. So this is what all religions is doing. Period. I don't care if we understand what the spirit now. That's why, and Christianity has no business even utilizing metaphysics in their book, because the only reason that they're utilizing metaphysics is from the Book of Dead, and which is a book that has nothing to do with Christianity, right? And Christianity is taking these stories and trying to revamp them into a new comic book kind of way and give it new characters, but it's new characters based upon an old story, and then the religion of Christianity is purely about the physical realm. It's purely about Lucifer and creating this physical realm. So you see what I'm saying? So it has nothing to do with metaphysics. Even the hell concept in Christianity is pure physical. They're talking about putting you in a body of fire. You go into the lake of fire. The heaven is like a government. It's a place that needs to be set up and things of that nature. All this is pure physical. So when we get into Christianity, we're talking about old governments and old rulers and shit like that, and pharaohs and shit like that, and they're taking stories from that shit. Christianity is a child spirit. That's stupid. But when we talk about as far as natures in general, this is what all religions, I don't care if you, even Hindus, how far you go back, this is what all religions is doing, right? Now, as a spirit, you need to understand. Now, I don't even want to use the word spirit yet. Let's just say your state of being. You're just a state of being, and you're always swimming, and you're always traveling. You're always swimming, floating, or traveling. So when y'all talk about stars, planets, y'all need to know that these are just water currents, oceans, that the level of life that we live so long, those rivers has spread it out. So rivers are so spread it out, you can't swim that far. You can only swim on the river that you came out of. So this is where we get the aspect of land and location and realm reality of primordial waters. You know what I'm saying? Primordial waters. So you got the higher frequency vibration and lower frequency vibration of it, based upon where you're living at as a state of being. Now, your state of being is going to resonate. So what separates your state of being from another is based upon space and location. So this is like the birth of spirits and things of that nature. But for the most part, now, based upon your travel, your ability to swim, you experience. Now, experience is received. So once you experience, you develop elements. Your ability to experience develop elements. And then within the elements, based upon how you relate to it, that develop a light body. And a light body is a shape, form, gas, vessel, bacteria, plasma, whatever y'all want to call it. But it's just another shape. It's a shape and form you created out of your state of being to go into as a vessel to be aware of yourself within that realm of reality. I like to call it within that astral travel, because I like to create spaceships like the ancient esoteric pilot Ganesh. You know what I'm saying? Ganesha in this motherfucker. Esoteric astronauts in this motherfucker. So it's letting you know how we got here. You know what I'm saying? You created a spaceship. So based upon what your state of being and what you resonate with, your space, your state of being, right? You're traveling based upon what you resonate with. So this creates experiences. So it creates the illusion to make you think that you're actually traveling. But it's just an experience. And within this experience, that creates an element. And within that element, the first spark element would be like electricity or fire, which I want to call it. But this is just the first shape and form that you could go into to be aware of yourself, right? And to experience your state of being, and to go within yourself. in some way, shape, or form. So you're going within yourself, your creation. You go in that as a spirit, as a space, as no thing, no shape and form. Then you go into that shape and form, you create it. Now, based upon that experience, your ability to hone in on that experience creates more of that experience, and that creates more density and more heaviness, so it brings you down, so it could develop responsibility, stressfulness, or the comic book story of Ma'at. If you weigh your light body, which they call it the heart here, but I'm talking about at a stage you ain't even developed no goddamn heart yet. I'm Archangel Uriel. That's why I don't even want to really make a book. My spirit is just what it is. You know what I'm saying? You take that light body, and they made the comic book story around it and called it the heart. But that's a more dense physical version that's manifested out of one of your lightest bodies. You see what I'm saying? To sustain yourself in that dimension where they start writing the shit at it. And Thoth wanted to be the god of this union and shit like that. Another story. But for the most part, boom, when you weigh that, it's supposed to be it's not supposed to be heavier than the feather of my eye. So if it's heavier, then your ass have to come back into this realm of reality and to express itself. Now, as true beings, what you need to understand is you're not able to pass through. So that's within anything. Circumstances, situations, spiritual natures, physical body, whatever. When you want to decide to stay in one routine and pattern over and over again and not detach from certain people, places, or things or scenarios, aka you choose, you agree to the terms and conditions to keep experiencing that. So you are not light. These things become stressful for you. These things become heavy for you. You feel like you got the world on your shoulders. You feel like life is getting heavy. You feel like life is hard because the situations became so dense because you paid so much attention to it that it became so physical and shapely that goddamn it's hard, it's physical. So your life in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional realm that your spirit is rotating in is hard. You get it? It's really hard. You really made that. So that's what it's talking about. Fuck the comic book story of Ma'at and fuck all the other. That's what it's talking about. Now, your ability to detach from experiences, so your ability to go through experiences, but to still realize that you are not of these things, aka still keep your true state of being, still keep your true self, not get lost into your light, not get lost into your creation, not get lost into your imagination, not get lost within yourself. You remember that you're your true state of being. Therefore, you're able to experience freely. Therefore, these experience, when you go to the comic book story of my eye, which is not that. This is how it really goes. When that light body expires, and at this time it's going real fast because these just light bodies, right? You have to develop a whole lot of ones, a whole lot of archives to have a big one to come real down. But look, in this aspect right here, when you detach from a lot of, when you understand that you're still your true state of being, and this was just an experience, this experience end up not being you. So in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, it's like it's not you. So when it transform, you ain't have no attachment to it. So it don't matter what you did in it. Once it transformed, you didn't get attached to it. So when it's transformed, it doesn't suck you back down with it. Like the elements doesn't go back down. Like if your body was to die and you get buried. And that 4th, 5th, with that light body, it condenses down and it transforms and it condenses down. But at this time, it's just light. It's a ball of information. And the information is involved of your experiences as a state of being. Now, since you're not attached to these things, right, that go down, but your spirit don't go down with it, aka due to memory and you having certain attachments to that information, aka the people, places, and things that was an illusion within that at the time. Right? So your spirit is able to travel freely and go create another realm of reality for itself and never get attached within a being or lost within a being that did it before it. So it followed it in that space and location. Therefore, it's just a smaller spirit mimicking the larger spirit that it's in. This is why y'all live in bodies. This is why y'all was born out as parents and y'all don't know how to birth yourselves. See what I'm saying? But for the most part, that's when the lightest bodies, you know what I'm saying? When you're creating your feminine and masculine versions of your bodies and things of that nature. So that's what you're actually doing as a spirit. Period. All religions is just trying to explain that. And then you get one or two men or women who got their own philosophical points of views of that. And then once they are able to have other people follow that idea or concept, here's the origin of Legion. here's the origin of religion. Because here's what you need to understand, right? We are creating the external world based upon our experiences. Now, what I was just breaking down was us creating our chakra bodies before we even had eyes and things of that nature. So we're developing our consciousness. So at this time, we're still traveling based upon state of being and what we resonate with. And the more you attach yourself, aka put yourself in a hellistic state, aka try to hone in on your imagination and dream without letting it go and living freely, that's how you bring yourself down in the realms of realities. So if you are here now, you have followed a spirit that have did that tenfold, have went the lowest that they ever can go. That's the only reason you here right now, and you have followed that spirit here in some way, shape, or form. Keep that in mind. Now, just that, now all spirits like to experience for a long time. So there, and when I'm talking about this, there's no right or wrong in this. It's just when y'all get into y'all comic book fairy tales, and then y'all have one specific spirit that want to rule y'all, and the experience itself might not been right to it. So it developed was right or wrong for itself, and then the spirits that's following that spirit goes with what that spirit think is right or wrong. And then since that spirit expansion and contraction is much wider, then it's in a bigger body. So all those spirits live through that being, aka that imagination, that world, that chakra, that emitting of light, and aka all the spirits that follow that just follow that spirit way of existing. But that's it. That's all. We just all existing. Don't think there's a Dalmatian or that you put yourself in your hellistic states. You put yourself in your heavenistic states of beings. You just a being. Whatever illusion and realm reality you're vibrating in at the moment, that's an illusion. But when you go to sleep, you realize you're just a being again. And that's where you always go. You can't stay awake. Now, check this out. When you come down, right, and your ability to come into these realms of realities and hone in on a dream and imagination, you may follow a spirit that knew how to do that before you. So they have information based upon their trail, their direction, aka you're following what you resonate with. So since you want to do the same type of thing and you just feel that way, you move into that space, you move into those waters, and then those waters got elements, and based upon that being chakra in this current, in this water, since it was there before you and it was relative to them. So based upon you being in this realm of reality, that's when y'all start developing the heart first, or the heart space, the right ingredients for that kind of heart to get manifested, or that to get manifested. So the heart is like the first brain. It's your right brain. You know what I'm saying? This is the right area. This is the left area. You see what I'm saying? Y'all forgot that y'all was born laying down, coming out like a star. Y'all still following spirits that taught y'all how to stand up right. So since y'all look up to the spirit in this realm of reality, y'all directional pad of looking up is only spiritual natures, is to the spirit that y'all was following. So y'all naturally look up to the deity in the physical shapes and forms that spirit is in, and then y'all call that up. But what the fuck is direction when you talking about 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension? See, that deity know that. That spirit know that. It's y'all don't know that. Because y'all the lesser spirits with lesser body, lesser blood cells, and with the spirits in the blood cells as y'all persons, y'all personality in that blood cell, living out that follower experience. So y'all don't know. Y'all just being led by the spirit, and this spirit dumb as hell. But check this out, right? Start developing the heart. So you start developing how the physical shape and form of what you resonate with and what you're comfortable with. So as the heart, all hearts, all mini stars look like the shit that's in the water, or when they come off the water, the shit that's on the land. So bacteria, these are like little hearts and shit like that. Bacterias and germs, these are all little hearts. This was you. You know what I'm saying? So you're still traveling. You ain't got no conscious eyes or nothing like that, or whatever like that. Then based upon those experiences, as a spirit, you die, be born, and keep transforming and keep going into different vessels. And based upon each experience, you get into a vessel that can have a longer experience, aka till you're a human now, and you can live this long of a life. But as a spirit, you have just been traveling, and these have just been all illusions to you. So you think you're waking up is you actually being dead, going to sleep. You putting your spirit into a battery or a vessel or a cell. This is why we call battery cells. This is why we call them that. You putting it and going to sleep to experience that realm of reality, right? And when you go to sleep, that's when you're actually waking up. When you die, that's when you're actually alive. That's what y'all actually need to know that. But the spirit doesn't like to be alive. The spirit doesn't like to be in that realm of reality because like it's too fast. You can't hone in. You can't hone in. Let's think about when the illusion of y'all being asleep and you have a good ass dream. You don't want to wake up from that dream. So think about it when you're woke as a spirit. That's when you're asleep. But when you wake up, think about all y'all dreams. Think about somebody who's getting ready to be successful. They don't even want to go to sleep. They work all night, get a bunch of money. They don't even want to go sit down. They want to spend money all day, and you know what I'm saying? They don't even want to sleep. They want to get their goals and their dreams and imaginations out here. A lot of y'all get jobs that force y'all to not be able to sleep and things of that nature. You're trying to stay woke to the point that you're developing conscious awarenesses, and then y'all following other spirits that's trying to teach y'all how to develop conscious awareness on way higher intellect than y'all. So they're finding out ways how to do it with computers and hook themselves up with computers. Then you got low vibrational spirits in bodies that's trying to do it, where this is what you call the conscious community, where these are just low vibrational spirits trying to follow other spirits that's doing it technology wise, but they're doing this from a very primal state technology wise, so they don't even understand what they're doing. So they're creating opposers based upon religion while not using the tools that they need to actually do what they're actually trying to say that they're trying to do anyway, which is conscious awareness. Be woke. Conscious community. Being consciously aware. Being woke. Being more awake. Being more in the yang realm. So they're trying to tell you the more you are aware of things, the more you are woke. So this means being consciously aware of your surroundings and not just being told by the lies. But being consciously aware is going more into the lie. That's what you need to know. The more you think you're finding the truth, you're just putting yourself in a situation where you're trying to look for more lies. That's it. Like I told y'all, the truth is synonymous with lies. There's no truth outside of itself. There's no something that you could point to and be like, oh, that's true. No, truth it gets manifested from when you find a lie. The only way somebody be like, that's the truth, is because you're saying something that's not. For an example, somebody could say, that's your name is Brian, right? And you could be like, okay, yeah, that's the truth, right? Okay, but there's 100 people named Brian. So are all these Brians you? No. You see what I'm saying? So the only way I can tell that that you're this Brian and you're not the other Brians is because you're not those other Brians. You see, the not word come. When you're not something, when something is false, that becomes the truth. But truth is not something synonymous. I mean, truth is synonymous with false. It's not something outside of itself. You get what I'm saying? So that's what y'all have to understand. So we're creating this external this world based upon experience. So when you have a person who have their own imagination about what we're all experiencing, and you have a bunch of people agreeing to those terms and conditions, here's where you get a legion, and here's where you get the concept of be fruitful. A bunch of people giving their own energy and power, aka currency, aka attention, to one person's attention span, and then that one person's attention span is allowed to grow and expand, and now that they are the owner of that intellectual property, so they're always going to receive the fruits and labor of it, aka maintain a position, no matter what realm of reality they are in. Whether they died from the one that they started it in and went and ascended or descended to another one, and it doesn't matter. Whatever physical shape and form that they go into when they died and be born into another realm, their spirit state of being is in that same space in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. So they're always going to be doing their nature. So when you got a bunch of people right now in this human nature, this animalistic nature and things of that nature, and correlating to the 3D realm, right? They want to be in nature. So you need to understand what nature is. What is nature? Nature is animal. Animal is a nature. So you have animalistic natures. So anytime you dive too much into nature and think this is a good thing because nature is sustaining yourself and being good, you need to understand that you're spiritually lost in the highest level, because you're taking your spirit and losing it in the highest way of animalistic natures. Nature is the animal. Nature is the body. This is why you get ancient texts trying to hate on the body or things of that nature and say take care of the body but don't get attached to it. They're talking about Mother Nature. They're talking about the womb that you in, the body. So when you suck too much to it and don't learn how to leave the nest, don't learn how to live as a blood cell on your own so you can become a star and become your own vehicle, For lesser spirits could come in and train like you, and your universe, your body can be the training arena, can be the school. You don't do that. You see what I'm saying? Y'all don't understand this is what you actually supposed to do. So for the most part, you're not supposed to cling to Mother Nature. We are supposed to create technology to destroy ourselves. But you have spirits in bodies, which is men and women, creating technology to mimic the third dimension. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to create technology to mimic the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension within the third dimension. We're supposed to create technology to actually understand the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension. So we're creating things like this to understand what our spirit is doing. So we're not supposed to create a phone to forget numbers. We're supposed to create a phone to help us remember numbers. You see where things get fucked up? So now you got men and women creating a phone and y'all spiritually forgot a number. But we're supposed to utilize this technology for us to remember numbers. Therefore, the number these kind of phones supposed to be like, we're just saying something and we could think it. Then the gadget automatically dial it down. But we on the negative end of it, we got the gadget and forget the numbers and forget what we forgot it, so we can't ever think it. So we got to use the gadget to go into it to remember. And now we don't even remember that. Now we got to name somebody. We just got to remember when we named the person and click on that. So it's like we're lost. You see what I'm saying? But for the most part, we are here supposed to detach. We're all, as blood cells, supposed to learn how to live on our own so we could ascend to a star, and then the blood cells within us could be within our bloodstreams, within our imagination, our lights, our plasma, our flows, our rivers, our bloodstreams. And the same way we look at constellations and we don't understand that this is rivers and bloodstreams, the same way the blood cells is within you don't understand that these are motherfuckers living in your bloodstream. But to them, they just walking on a goddamn land and walking on shit and interacting based upon influence. They're influent, but but to them it's influence. And they're creating realms of realities and illusions like fish. Same way you is. You're influent, but you just think it's influence. So you just think you experiencing realm of realities and you catching vibes and shit. This is false. You see what I'm saying? Y'all get it? So the more you learn how to detach from nature, the more you learn how to detach from your animalistic ways. So when y'all look at people who and cutting down trees and shit like that and creating buildings and shit like that, these are spirits and bodies who are lost in their animalistic natures. They're lost in their animalistic ways, but still doing what the spirit is doing, because as spirits we're all traveling, and as a spirit group we're all in a space and location relative to each other. We're rotating with each other because we're all familiar, because we're all creating the same kind of experience. So we all have similar kind of bodies. Just as spirits, we may have came here in different rivers, because it was so many of us. It's like a big ass space in one, but it was just space within space. So some came in those bodies of rivers, some spirits landed in that body of rivers. So based upon geographical location of these bodies of rivers, many stars, which is this chakra world, and many stars will be each sea, the 7 seas, the oceans, which are the Antarctica and stuff like that. So so the spirits that develop out of those waters and the shapes and forms that they created for themselves is what they look like as far as color wise, and the way that the lights and the stars and the chakra wheels that we're up under is hitting each other. But as a spiritual group in general, we all came here together as far as spiritual information, all state of beings, because we all created the shapes and forms out of ourselves, out of this water, the same kind of shapes and forms. Now they just look slightly different because we all spread it out across each waters. You know what I'm saying? So each geographical location, what y'all think would it look like today, is what y'all want to get, what y'all calling racist. Is I hate that y'all made up racist. I hate that y'all made that up. Y'all dumb as fuck. But for the most part, yeah. This all spiritual sectors. As all a big old spiritual group, we came here as spiritual sectors in all sections. You know what I'm saying? Because it was so wide of a space when we came into these space over these waters. We all hovered over the waters and created our own imagination. That's why you got your own body that you are in, dumbass. Don't just listen to one spirit that you was following, then you care about him or her. This one is a him here because he didn't wrote his story and had a bunch of people that was following him, his legion. following him and shit like that, write his story, so y'all think that he created what we all came here to do as a collective conscience. We all participated in that L1I. You know what I'm saying? We all participated in that shit, that Trinity. We all bust ourselves up to come here. Don't listen to one nigga that did that. So just because he more smarter, he bigger, y'all living through him, fuck that nigga. But like I said, that's called initiation. So, goddamn, let me start this motherfucking video. Fuck you, bitch. I gotta go live tonight, man. Because we gotta chop it up about these transits, too. Gotta chop it up about the transits, because, you know, Moon gonna go into motherfucker the opposite of the Scorpio, and Scorpio is going into goddamn, and the Sun is going into Sagittarius. So, you know what I'm saying? Shit is getting deep in this motherfucker. Flight bus, or getting high. Because we went to the deep end, which is Scorpio, now we're gonna go to the high end, which is Sagittarius. And then the Moon gonna slide her monkey ass into Taurus. So, you know, things is gonna be going on there where we need to react and reform. I'm gonna go live. Goddamn, flight boss, bitch. Goddamn air. Love y'all.